The world is going insane. In a breaking news story, the National School Boards Association, an institution representing over 90,000 schools in the United States, are calling for Biden to send the FBI to crack down on parents protesting over vaccine and mask mandates, with teachers calling for the angry parents to be labeled as domestic terrorists. In other news, in a viral Reddit news story, a woman posted on r/2x chromosomes, basically a board for females, that she reported her former best friend to the FBI for having opinions critical of Joe Biden. Folks, we are descending into absolute communist tyranny and madness. And speaking of, here on the Daily Mail, Comrade Biden's Soviet-born nominee for comptroller of the currency thinks the Fed should end banking and admires USSR's economy because there was no pay gap during communism. I can't make this up, folks. I can't make it up. But we're going to talk about all this and more. Before we do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, click the bell button for updates, and if you like the video, please share it by showing your family and friends, posting it on social media websites like Twitter and Facebook, and getting the word out. But now, a quick word from our sponsor. Introducing Webull. Webull is an easy and convenient trading app where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency and stocks. Right now is a really good time to get into investing, as stocks and crypto are currently down at a discount. Join Webull today and deposit $5 and you will receive 2 free stocks, worth up to $1,400. Folks, it's basically free money. Click the affiliate link and deposit your first $5 to receive 2 free stocks. And we're back. Okay, so let's talk about this story, which I believe is very important. We've passed the point of no return. We have a sharp political divide between the left and the right. And you see it happening in so many countries, in so many places, but especially America. We now have a National School Board Association urging the president in a letter to mobilize federal agents to crush protesting parents. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a clickbait headline. This is literally what's happening. So here on the Daily Mail, it says, NSBA President Viola Garcia and Interim Executive Director and CEO Chip Slavin penned the document, which was also published online. They're saying that these parents who are irate over vaccine and mask mandates forced on their children should be treated as domestic terrorism. And they're asking the US president for immediate assistance. Here the title says, teachers call angry parents terrorists. School officials beg Biden to send in the FBI to protect them from extremist parents angry over the mandates. And they want the FBI and Secret Service agents to protect them against protesters. Look at this, folks. Let's take a look at the evil, bigot protesters who are so dangerous. Look at this picture. Freedom, not force. Oh, the humanity. The bigots. The absolute fascists. Oh, wait a minute. I thought fascism was forcing people to do what you want without their consent. See the other signs here? This older woman here is holding up a sign saying, coercion is not consent. Another sign says, personal choice. Oh, the humanity. Put them in jail now. So apparently, folks, these teachers calling for Biden to crack down on these protesters, calling for freedom of choice, calling for freedom, not force. Apparently, these are the evil terrorists who need to be destroyed. So they want the FBI. They want Secret Service. Talk about delusional psychosis. So here it says, quote, the National School Boards Association, the NSBA, respectfully asks for federal law enforcement and other assistance to deal with the growing number of threats of violence and acts of intimidation occurring across the nation. The letter to Biden begins. The correspondence goes on to mention incidents of threats or actual acts of violence against school staffers, alleging that angry mobs have hindered their ability to hold school board meetings because of reported outbursts from extremist parents irate over vaccine and mask mandates being pressured upon their students in order for them to go to school. Now, they really push home this message of, like, violent, evil bigots, but, you know, I'm looking at these pictures, I'm looking at the protesters, I'm not seeing any violence. I'm seeing these signs that are saying, freedom, not force. Oh, the humanity. Oh my God, personal choice. Oh my goodness. How insane. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with the parents. I'm not saying that I don't agree with the parents. Honestly, it's not about the vaccine. It's about mandates. This is what people are complaining about. Now, they conflate the two, right? The media and the Democrat politicians, they're on the TV, they're saying these people are all anti-vaxxers. No, they're not. 99% of people are vaccinated, okay? They're not anti-vaccine. They're anti-mandate. There's a big difference. And a lot of this is over the mask mandate. Personally, I completely understand. You know, you have these children during the most important years of their lives, developmental years, and they're not seeing people's faces. They're not seeing people's expressions. That cannot be good for mental development. How do you recognize social cues? How do you learn to read facial expressions? You can't. Everyone's wearing a mask. I heard this one horror story of a little girl who threw up in her face mask and was wearing it all day, right? The teacher found out and said, well, this isn't right. This girl was wearing the mask in her own vomit the whole day because of the rules. This is insane. Which brings us to another trending story. Here on Reddit, on r/2x chromosomes, I just reported my former best friend to the FBI. This was an awful, awful post. So I'm going to sum up this story, okay? It's got a bunch of awards. It's got 21,000 upvotes. And this is what it says. I just reported my former best friend to the FBI. I feel awful, but it needed to be done. I grew up with her. We did everything together. She was such a beautiful, kind-hearted, free spirit. Then she got married to a conservative guy and moved to the Bible Belt. She became an evangelical Christian, and we drifted apart because we became too different. I still have her on my Facebook friends list, and it hurt to see her turn into an anti-vaxxer, anti-masker, and hardcore Trump supporter. Blah, blah, blah. She goes on to say the other day, she posted a cruel diatribe against President Biden because he mandated vaccines for the military and companies with 100 plus employees. In the comment section, she and her husband and their Trumper friends said things like, quote, if Biden keeps this up, we'll have another January 6th event, and it will be real this time. We're ready. I took that as a threat against the president, the Congress, and other government officials. This time it'll be real is pretty telling. They're implying that more people, important people, will get hurt this time, so I reported them to the FBI. I feel bad for doing that. I miss my friend, but she's not that person anymore. Stunning and brave. Fascism is in fashion, baby. I guess fascism is back in town, because what we are seeing is the acceleration of America into a communist police state. Literal fascism. All these Democrats, and this isn't the only story, there are tons of stories of Democrats reporting their friends, their family, their loved ones to the FBI and to the government. Why? Because they're Trump supporters. Why? Because they're against mandates. There's literally nothing wrong with saying, if Biden keeps doing what he's doing, we're probably going to have another January 6th, and I wouldn't be surprised if it escalates. Yeah. I think most people with half a brain are thinking the same thing. I personally think that America is headed towards some sort of big conflict. I don't know if you would call it a civil war. I do think that America is already in what could be considered a civil war, simply because the political divide is just too much. It is as wide as the ocean. Democrats cannot get along with conservatives, and conservatives cannot get along with Democrats. You know what? Let me correct myself. I think conservatives could get along with Democrats, but Democrats will never coexist with anybody who isn't part of the Democrat cult. But folks, this is a real problem. The last story I want to talk about is the U.S. economy right now. Okay? The government recently voted to extend federal funding to avoid a government shutdown. They extended the funding to December 15th. Currently, the government is arguing over the $3.5 trillion spending bill, and it's just a huge mess. There's a lot of Democrats and a lot of leftists out there who claim that conservatives are being dramatic when they say that Democrats are becoming communist. Well, let's look at the following story here on the Daily Mail. Welcome, comrade. Biden's Soviet-born nominee for comptroller of the currency, thinks the Fed should end banking, admires USSR's economy because there was no gender pay gap, and says that hedge funds are an a-hole industry. Sol Omarova is a Cornell Law School professor who graduated from college in Moscow, where she attended on a scholarship named after Vladimir Lenin. She wrote a paper advocating for the Federal Reserve to take over Americans' personal banking in order to have more policy clout against big banks. Okay, this woman is a piece of work, okay? She's basically a communist. And she said she admired the USSR. That was Stalin's Soviet Union. This is a woman who literally praises communism being put in an official government role. I think conservatives are telling the truth when they say that Democrats are becoming communists. Now, I like what Representative Madison Cott had to say about the spending bill that the Democrats are trying to pass. Here on Twitter, the madman says, "This $3.5 trillion reconciliation package is my generation's long-form death certificate." Ooh, spicy. Spicy meatball. And I absolutely agree. You know, Senator Manchin is on the record as saying the following: "I cannot and will not support trillions in spending." And they go over it here in this National Review article. Quote, "Every member of Congress has a solemn duty to vote for what they believe is the best for the country and the American people, not their party. Respectfully, as I've said for months, I can't support $3.5 trillion more in spending when we have already spent $5.4 trillion since last March. At some point, all of us, regardless of party, must ask the simple question: how much is enough?" Just bravo. Absolutely bravo. The Democrats are trying to ram the $3.5 trillion spending bill through the government. This includes the $1.5 trillion infrastructure package with horrible policies to tax you for driving, to tax you for existing, to tax you for dying, and spy on you if you have $600 or more in any accounts, anywhere. PayPal, banks, you name it, baby. They're going to spy on you. And Joe Biden kept saying, and he's still saying, that we're going to go after the rich people. We're going to tax the rich to pay for this $3.5 trillion spending bill. Oh, really? Do you really think they would be spying on you if you have $600? If they were going after the rich? They're not going after the rich. They're going after you. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about these stories? Let me know by commenting down below. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar, as this channel is currently not monetized. It is supported by viewers like you. If you want to donate, check out my donor box page or send me crypto. Links and addresses are down below. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time.